Who's here to learn about improving the customer experience in an online world? Hands, yes, yes. All right, good, because this could have been awkward since that's what I'm here to talk to you about. And the crazy part about improving the customer experience in an online world really isn't good enough anymore. It's about improving the customer experience throughout the omnichannel and how you can be everywhere to everyone. So hence, being a true millennial, I did put my Twitter handle and a hashtag for the theme of the presentation, everywhere to everyone. And just a public service announcement, so you don't have to take pictures. I just tweeted every slide out, so you just hold down, save it, and you'll have the slide there for you. All right, so before we get into how to actually improve the customer experience online, the first step is grounding ourselves. So step one, what exactly is the customer experience, right? So we hear it all the time, but it's an interaction between a consumer and a brand or organization throughout the business relationship. So if you look at this definition, two words that kind of stand out to me here are the business relationship. So how long is that business relationship? Is it just one transaction? Most of us are really and truly hoping for a lifetime of transactions and brand love and loyalty. So, how do we really create that experience? If you look at maybe one bad experience, so for example, took my dog to the groomers. They were late. Then they called me 2 hours later, and they didn't even have groomers and staff to cut my dog's hair. So not going back there, and not only that, told my mom about it, she's not going back. So one bad experience can really just ruin a whole lifetime for that business relationship. Then if you look at a great example, right? Fern talked about Sephora. Sephora just got a shipment from them not too long ago, about a week ago. They forgot one of my items that I paid for, called their customer service, and within 5 minutes, I had a new product shipping to my house. No questions asked. No asked for pictures to prove that I didn't have the product in the box. They just did it. So that is a customer experience and a business relationship for me that I will continue to go back. The second part in grounding ourselves is grounding ourselves in the new normal, which for me is kind of the hardest part for us to ground ourselves in. So if you look at kind of the chart to the left, it's kind of the old school, right? We learned the shopping cycle. It was very linear. You moved from one step to the next, and it just kept moving. But if you look at kind of the new school, it's a spider web of craziness, right? So shoppers are jumping in and out of this shopping cycle when and however they please. So if you look at me, I'm watching TV, I might see a dress that I really love, and I'm gonna check on my phone to see exactly where I can buy it, what ratings and reviews are out there. I may see that it's in a local store, so I'll go try it on. I may not need it right that second, so I'll just go home, get on my phone, get it shipped to my house. So there's just all different kinds of ways for us to get in and out of the shopping cycle and how we get information, how we buy the product. So it's all very much a spider-webbed approach. All right, so now that we ground ourselves, how can we be everywhere to everyone? First step is really understanding your shopper. So like Fern said, but this time it's understanding exactly how they shop and why they're doing what they're doing online. So the first one, are they showrooming? Are they browsing the stores and then going back home and buying online? Why is that? If you look at just moved into a new house, I need a mattress. I'm probably going to the store to make sure that it's the right mattress for me, but I don't have a vehicle that can get the mattress there. So instead of paying for a delivery service, I went online and purchased the mattress to be delivered to my door. So that's an example of showrooming, browsing in the store and buying online. And then you have web rooming, which is what a lot of people do now, researching online and then going in store to buy. So kind of why are they doing that? Is it because of a price point, or is it because they want an immediate product? They want it now. They want to feel and touch the product. The second part in understanding the shopper is understanding how they navigate the space online. So a lot of us have done research about the decision tree in store. So how are they standing at shelf? Do they look left to right, up, top to bottom? But now it's time to take that research online and understanding, are they using the search bar whenever they get on a retailer site? are they starting on a retailer site versus Google, or are they starting on Google and getting to the retailer site from there? And then how are they navigating that site? Is it the search bar, for example, or are they using the navigation on the left-hand side to get into the categories? And then once they get into that category space, how long does it take them to find your product, and how can you make it easier for them to find your product? Are they using filters, for example? So if you look at baby food, are they using stages? Are they looking at how old their baby is to be able to find the products they need? There's so many items of baby food online, so figuring out how to help your shopper find their product faster, the more they are going to put in their basket, and the more likely they are to buy. The second step is identifying your brand personality. So everyone wants to feel connected to a brand. They want to feel like they can talk to somebody. They want to feel like they can relate to them in some way. So the second step is really taking a look at what your shopper wants to relate to and how you can become that for them. So Gerber actually just did this. So if you take a look on the left, you have Dorothy Gerber. She was the founder of Gerber Baby Food, started canning back way long ago whenever people were handwriting letters. So Dorothy would actually respond to moms, any concerns that they have with the baby food or any type of motherly questions. She would respond them with letters. So we have now taken that into kind of the modern day handwritten letters of texting. So we now have a new service called Dottie. So moms can go online and text Dottie 24/7. We have registered dietitians, we have sleep consultants on the desk ready to go to text you and answer your questions. So this is a way for Gerber, our company, to really gain trust with moms. If they have a question at 2 o'clock in the morning, why is my baby's poop green? We will be able to answer that for you or give you advice on how to handle it moving forward. And then the second one is kind of our logo. We've had a predominant logo in the marketplace for 91 years. So we actually revamped the logo this year to a modernized kind of vintage hand-drawn baby. So didn't want to remove the logo. It does a lot for us. It allows people to recognize our brand. And then taking that a step further, but really relating that to an actual baby. So this is Lucas, and Lucas is our Gerber baby for 2018. So it really allows us to connect with shoppers and show them, that there's an actual baby and a family behind our brand that supports us, and he will be seen in social media advertising throughout the year. So it's kind of taking what we stand for in a brand and, giving it to our shoppers. The third step is getting back to the basics. So if you were to take one thing away from my presentation, it's to tell you that the product pages are now your new TV ad. This is a space that allows your shoppers to get the most information possible. So content is king. If you look at your brand personality, that's kind of like the first step that you take in writing your content. So the brand personality kind of is a stepping stone for what kind of tone you're going to have on a 1-800 number, a live chat, or even your content. So with content, the first thing to look at is mobile first. I'm sure a lot of us have heard this before, but it's always good to go out there and look at what your products look like on a mobile device to really and truly understand, okay, my shopper can only see my title and the pictures, and they can swipe through. All of that content that's below the fold, they cannot see that until they scroll quite a ways. So my second point here is to focus on the above the fold content, which is the images. A lot of us have images of products out there, but how can we tell a story with our images? How can you put product benefits on your images? How can you tell, for us, for example, where's that banana grown that is in our cereal? We can tell people that through those images. Sometimes, pictures are worth 1,000 words, but in this case, it could be worth thousands of dollars for us if you're able to swipe through and see exactly what the brand stands for. And then the second piece is videos. So adding videos above the fold will also help tell your story, but the thing to remember here is 15-second video max, maybe 7 seconds. So you don't have very long to tell your story and to keep somebody's attention. And then ratings and reviews. So not only do you need to increase the ratings and reviews, but you need to respond to them. You need to let your shoppers know that you're there for them, whether it's a positive review or a negative review. Thanking them for using your product. If it's a positive review, we're glad you had a great experience. Or negative, how can we make sure that we can take that feedback back to, is it a packaging team or is it an innovation team to correct that product in the future? And then the last kind of step, which is if you look back to the spider web approach and your shopper can jump in and out of the cycle however they want, if you look at that, you need to make sure that you're creating a seamless experience, like Fern said. So not only unique, but this time it's just being consistent. So if you want your shopper to make sure that it's the correct packaging, it's the right title, because if they go from desktop to mobile and they see it's different, it's going to create a bad experience for them. So just overall making sure if they're at shelf, they can read the same information if they were sitting in front of their computer at home. All right, so 4 simple, I hope, calls to action for you guys. The first one, understanding your shopper and how they're shopping online. So are they web rooming, showrooming, or are they doing a little bit of both? So understanding how they're shopping, what those barriers are, and how you can change those. The second one is finding your brand persona. Every shopper wants to connect with you, so identify how you want to be perceived. What is your tone going to be? And then use that tone in everything that you do, whether it's marketing, emails, live chats, 1-800 numbers, and especially your content for online. 3, getting back to the basics. So making sure that your product pages are your new TV ads. Use that space, like crazy. Use the above the fold images. Make sure you're responding to those ratings and reviews and taking those back to your internal team to improve your products. And then 4, building a brand seamless experience from, mobile to desktop. So that is all that I've got. So I'll take questions. Questions? I don't know if is there a microphone? Go. No.
I do a lot of online grocery pickup.
Yeah.
And I was just looking at your example of the above the fold information, and good example is last week I was running out of toothpaste, found the toothpaste I wanted. I was like, I'll just get 2, so then I'll have one in the clip, right?
Yeah.
And I get them, and they're like the little tiny travel ones, and I wanted a regular one.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that there's some brands that have done in the actual image, a large, however many ounces, or twin pack really big or something like that.
Yeah.
Have you practiced any of that? And if you have you seen any results in a good or bad way?
Yeah, we haven't practiced any of that, but we definitely make sure that a lot of our baby food, for example, is sold online in the case pack. So if you look at this cereal, this is the single item, but we'll sell it online in an 8 or 6 count. So, taking back the content and changing it, testing the 8-ounce pack of 6, or do we put it in the image? So we've tested some various ways of doing that. But the one thing that we're also looking to test too is putting all of the products in one image together. So if we're selling by a larger case pack size, like our little puffs, our snacks, we've got a pack of 6 that's showing as a first image. But it seems like it can get overwhelming for some. Like if you look at some of our pouches and we sell them in cases of 12, is that too overwhelming and gonna stop people from purchasing our products? So I think there's definitely, in the online space, you can update content any day you want to. But I think the hard part is measuring results to be able to tell. You've got to change like one thing and then measure them for a couple weeks before you start changing stuff again. But no, it's a good point in making sure that the size is called out, or at least having an image that relates it to an actual, scene. Yeah. Yeah. It's good. Any more questions?
I've got it over here.
Yeah.
Can you talk about your view on creating retailer-specific content versus more generic content that could be syndicated across retailers like Walmart.com and Amazon?
Yeah, like how we've created it in the past,
or just whether it's important to create a set of content that's different for Walmart versus other customers, or if it's okay to have a more generic suite of brand content.
Yeah. Okay. I would say, to answer that question, right now we have currently created content that has been consistent across the board, and that's just due to pure legal standards. We have probably over 600 items if you look at case packs that are sold on site, so getting content created for all of that. But I think in the future we're looking to manipulate that content for different shoppers. So the first step, understanding your shopper and why they're shopping. Walmart has different shoppers than, say, like a Target or an Amazon. So how do you make sure that you're giving that shopper the correct information and the right information that they're looking for? So I think in the future, it's definitely going to be more shopper, and customer base on how we create the content.
I'm intrigued by your statement that the product pages are the new TV commercial.
Yeah.
That's interesting, right? So a two-part question is, one is there evidence, is there quantitative evidence that says that product pages, the traffic to the product pages is increasing or is gaining, velocity? And the second part, you mentioned video as, some of the assets you can put on there. And describe what kind of video, and to Fern's point, is that an opportunity to either create that emotional experience or at least reinforce that brand emotional experience?
So the new TV ad, this is something that I actually brought to our corporate team probably a year ago. And that was actually just purely based off of the fact that over 55% of searches are starting on retailer sites now. So nobody, I won't say nobody, but a lot of people are going straight to the retailer sites for the information, and they're not going to Google and your sites alone. And people are, getting off of cable into, the internet. So that's kind of where my stat is coming from on that, and focusing on those product pages. And it's just, it's a great space for you to talk all about your product, and it's your kind of home. The product's there for you. But as far as videos, I would say, obviously the typical TV ad probably isn't going to work for the newer audience. So, showing the product, like a key product benefit that you want to really hone in on, but, showing it in context of how it's being used from day to day, I think is probably the best way to do it, or kind of more inspirational videos as opposed to getting your message out there, but more creative ways to get your message out there. And I think another important thing, too, is, with the understanding your shopper, it's, constantly evolving, right? As these new shoppers come up, like you were saying, the 14-year-olds, they want information like that. And if they don't get it, they're moving on. So maybe it's not even understanding your current shopper, but it's the next generation to understand how they're getting their information. Yeah. It's a combination. So it's, first and foremost about your content. So if, say, for example, like baby cereal, we have that in our title purely because we want to appear in searches when people are looking for baby cereal. And it's like, how many times can you put baby cereal in your short descriptions below the fold? That isn't going to get so annoying, but the more times that you put it on there, the higher up you're going to be in those type of searches. And then sales is a big consideration, which is obviously hard whenever you first put an item up. So the best advice I can give you is with ratings and reviews. Is there something you can do before a product launches to be able to build those, so that way when it is put on a Walmart.com, they're coming straight from your site onto there and bumping up in search rankings. Any other questions?
I just have one. So when we were talking the other day, you mentioned web rooming, and I was like, what? And then you explained it a little bit about how people probably don't want to go online and buy a case of baby food.
Yeah.
But they want to research, and it's something they want to think about. What kind of brought you to that, and how do you think other people could look at their products and maybe think about it's not just the sale online, but it's actually fulfilling that research and that need of information that people need?
Yeah. I mean, the other thing that, we looked at as a company, we did some advertising on another retailer site, and we realized the sales drove offline like 7 times that it was driving online. So that's the other indication that people are using the research online to drive in store. I think it's just, being able to really leverage that space as much as possible to showcase, your shopper before they go on shelf, or if they're at the shelf and they're looking for that information before they pick up the product. For baby food, it's moms really want to know, where is it coming from and how did it get to the shelf the way it is. So that's kind of our new goal is with, we've got campaigns launching Clean Fuel Farming, being, showing our farms in Michigan, and that the peas are delivered within 100 miles straight to our kitchen to get cooked. So it's extremely important to get that information out there, because they aren't researching just there, but also in store when they're at your shelves.